Everyone, welcome to Brew Jackets. It's a fun Blue Jackets themed podcast. My name is Kevin, and joining me tonight is my co-host Hefty Duck. And we always invite people to come on the show. Whether if they do or don't, that is a different story. But anyways, who knows? Maybe we'll get a fun surprise from Harry or someone else to show up. But that's besides the point. But anyways, there's a lot of stuff going on in the Blue Jackets world. Just wow. It every week Hefty Duck and I do a show, and we have a certain idea of what's going on, what we want to talk about, and then stuff always pops up like, oh, got to talk about that. And that's just how it goes. So the Blue Jackets have played 4 games since our last show. They lost 3 out of 4, but they did get a big win in Utah against the Mammoth, and we're going to talk about that in all the games. Good moments in all those games. The Blue Jackets, just wow, big move. They made the decision to fire Coach Dean EVASON. He's no more, not the coach of the Blue Jackets. He is gone. Assistant coach Steve McCarthy is also gone. And then the even bigger one is the Blue Jackets have made the decision to hire Rick BOWNESS as the new coach for the Blue Jackets. We'll be talking about that as well. We also have some stuff from Blue Jackets prospect Jackson Smith and Blue Jackets prospect Caden Lindstrom to share, and so much more. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get going, everyone, and welcome to the show.
We have so much to talk about today. Oh my God. I'm glad they delivered the news at least a few hours before the show so we could fucking talk about it a little bit. But hey, what's up, Charles Stanforth? How's it going, man? Welcome in. He's for those of you listening to the podcast, Charles Stanforth is leaving us a comment here over on Twitter/X. If you too would like to leave us a comment, you can do so on YouTube. You can do it on Twitter, X, whatever. We usually bring them up and we'll talk about it. Unless you say some really wild, messed up shit, then we'll discuss it. We'll talk a little shit with you too. We don't care. But yeah, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe wherever you're watching from. If you're watching us on Twitter, you can check out. I posted our YouTube link earlier. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you for that. Don't forget to like and follow that. We're trying to push our YouTube a little bit more. Twitter being our biggest crowd. We thank y'all. If you'd like to listen to us on audio, don't forget to you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, Google, Apple, wherever you can find podcasts, we are there. So don't forget to find us out there if you want to listen to us while you're driving to work or some shit.
Yeah.
But
all right.
You got anything else, other intro stuff here, Kevin?
Yeah, like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That'd be greatly appreciated. Please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please tell your family. Please tell your friends. Like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And one last thing before we get going here. Don't forget to check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. It's a fun Blue Jackets themed fan group that I run. We do a lot of fun stuff. It's stuff like marches that have been featured on the scoreboard at Blue Jackets games and TV, like ABC 6 News, NBC4, 10 TV. It's been the Columbus Dispatch, 97.1 The Fan. The Blue Jackets have featured it. Check that out. It's a lot of fun times bringing Blue Jackets fans together to cheer on the Blue Jackets. So check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. So, before we get to the really big news, as Hefty Ducko and I always do. We like to do a little appetizer, a little more light, something a little more light to talk about, and then we get into the more bigger, more important stuff. Anyways, first things first, stuff that I would like to show is this. So I'll put this up on the screen here. So this past weekend, Blue Jackets prospect Caden Lindstrom, who plays for Michigan State, went down to Columbus to play Ohio State in hockey. And there are different pictures that I've seen on Twitter of Caden Lindstrom at the game. This part.
Uh-oh. Did you freeze or did I freeze? You froze for a little bit.
Is that at A-Rob?
I'm sorry to interrupt you. You froze for a bit, and I couldn't hear anything you said. Can you backtrack about like 10 seconds of what you just said?
Okay, so Blue Jackets prospect Caden Lindstrom, who plays for Michigan State, played against Ohio State in hockey at the Shot in Columbus. And we have different pictures of Caden Lindstrom playing hockey from different people that I saw.
Nice.
So this particular pictures are from at ARob911 on Twitter. So that's the first one. And that's another one. Now, Jeff Savoda, the Blue Jackets reporter, had a good article on Caden Lindstrom. And at ARob911 on Twitter posted this: great net front presence. OSU had problems with him when he was on the ice, which is consistent of what you hear. When you hear about Caden Lindstrom, he's big, he's physical, 6'4", like 220. He's a pain in the ass to play in front of the net, power forward, center, and he can score goals, which I will take that. Eventually, he's going to be with the Blue Jackets, and if you get a guy like that with Adam Fantilli and a Sean Monahan to add to your center depth, that's just going to be great. But that's awesome. So there's that. Here we have CBJ prospects on Twitter, who does a good job of keeping track of what's going on with different Blue Jackets prospects. And he was also at the game. And here's a little picture of, we have Caden Lindstrom, also Blue Jackets prospect Melvin Strahl, who is a goalie. They both play for Michigan State, and there they were. So that's a cool little picture there. We also have another picture. This is obviously before the game, the national anthem, another picture of Caden Lindstrom. So that's cool. I like that. And then let's see here. Do we think we got one more thing here. I'm gonna put that up on the screen here. So Caden Lindstrom, getting into some little little shenanigans. Of course, there's a little scrum towards the end of the game, and Caden Lindstrom was getting into it along with other players.
I love how they're playing the fight song. That's awesome. I mean, the Ohio State fight song. Obviously, I'm a fan. But I can be both a fan of Ohio State and Caden Lindstrom. Curious if there's going to be some suspensions or academic anything after that.
So there you go. Caden Lindstrom getting in on the fun. You know, a little scrum, a little here, a little there. Later on in the show, will show a video of Caden Lindstrom making an awesome pass to help set up a goal that Michigan State scored, as well as Jackson Smith clips. But for now, we're going to move on to the big news that everyone has been talking about, which is this. I'll put this up on the screen, which is this. The Blue Jackets have made the decision to fire head coach Dean Evason. That is that by itself is just like a wow moment, because you don't necessarily think that's going to happen. But it did. Now, for me personally, I to a certain extent, I get it. I could see why you can make that move. And at the same time, I'm kind of like, I'm not so sure about this one. Because not everything is his fault. And he's a coach and he can only do so much. I'm sure there's things that he's shown the guys, you know, through practice or like tape and say, okay, guys, we need to do this. You need to play like this. You can only do so much. And if he's trying to teach him things and the players aren't really doing anything, at some point it's the player's fault, not the coach. But at the same time, I get it. Like, if this is a move that the Blue Jackets felt like that needed to happen, then so be it. I'm not exactly against it. I'm not exactly for it. It is what it is at this point, because this season has been like a 2 out of 10. For the most part, it hasn't been very good. There has been some good moments, some good things that you can talk about. You know, Zach Werenski's been good. Kromarchenko's been good. Adam Fantilli's been good. Damon Severson has been good. Jack Greaves has been good. Dmitry Voronkov, good. Denton Matejchuk, good. Miles Wood, good. Charlie Coyle, good. And there's other guys as well. I'm just picking a couple guys. So there has been some good moments here. But then there's also been some not so good moments that are just not good at all, where defensively you are just not very good. Let's just say what it is. You're just not very good. So many times where, you know, you're playing a good competitive game, or maybe it's tied up a goal or you're down a goal, and then for whatever reason, they just poop their pants and then it goes down the toilet, and then you have a period where you give up 1, 2, 3 goals, and then you look back like, well, damn, they lost because of that, or because of this, or because of that. The whole third period thing is basically a 1 out of 10, because 9 times out of 10 so far this season, if the Blue Jackets have a lead for whatever reason, they just poop their pants and they find a way to blow that lead and eventually lose that game. Now, there is that 1 time out of 10 where they didn't do that. There has been, it's a minor improvement, but there has been some improvement in that regard, because the Blue Jackets have been somewhat better about that. They have not been doing that as much. And there are a couple games here more recently where you can start to see that, where the Blue Jackets have a lead in the third period and then they don't piss it away and they find a way to win the game. So there has been some improvement. However, though, 9 times out of 10, it unfortunately, it's a thing where for whatever reason, you just have a lead in the third period, or let's say it's a competitive game, either it's tied or you're down a goal or two, and then you just, for whatever reason, choose to just not play the third period and you lose. You have a period where you give up 2 or 3 goals. And you just can't keep doing that. You just can't. That's unacceptable. You just can't keep doing that. So at some point, something has to be done. Me personally, I would have fired McCarthy first. And then if it kept going, then Dean Evason. But, hey, that didn't work out that way. And we get both Dean Evason and Steve McCarthy getting fired. So there's that. I also think, looking back on it, another thing that kind of did Dean Evason in was this. You go back to the start of last season. The Blue Jackets were not expected to do much because they came off a season where they had 66 points. They didn't do very good. Granted, that was better than the season before, because the season before they had 58 points. So 66 points is an improvement. Still not good enough, but it is an improvement. So that's where Dean Evason comes in. And then you get Don Waddell. And all this stuff. And then you're not expected to do very good. You're expected to just have another top 10 pick like you've been doing the last couple seasons. And then Johnny Gaudreau unfortunately dies because of a stupid, idiotic, drunk driver. And then that just adds to it of like, oh no, like crap. What are you going to do now? You don't have Johnny Gaudreau. You're coming off a season where you weren't very good. You're not expected to do much. What do you do now? Well, knowing what we know now, given the season that the Blue Jackets just had, they did way better than expected. They did not have a top 10 pick. They picked number 14. They were much better. They were way more competitive. They were a hard team to play against, night in, night out, all season long. They used the rather very sad and very unfortunate death of Johnny Gaudreau as a little extra rallying cry, a motivation factor, a little rah, 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 let's go, let's win it for Johnny Gaudreau sort of thing. And that gave them a little extra boost to do better. They also had the outdoor game. I do believe that also gave them a little extra motivation to look forward to. Like, man, we get this outdoor game at Ohio State, and it's going to be cool and awesome and all this cool stuff. And we get a new jersey and all the pomp and the circumstance and the excitement of the Blue Jackets outdoor game, which was awesome, which added more motivation factor to do better, to something to look forward to. So you have all this stuff. You did way better than expected, especially then you don't have Johnny Gaudreau, and you handled that well. You had the Blue Jackets outdoor game, and you just missed by 1 point. You win one more game, you're in. Who knows what would have happened? Because hockey playoffs are like, you win, you get in, anything can happen. You can go on a nice run. But you didn't do it. Still a good season because you did way better than expected. So going into this season, there was that hope, that expectation, knowing what we know, that, all right, you did way better than expected. You had a good season. You weren't expected to be that good, but you were that good, and you just missed the playoffs. It was a reasonable expectation to assume that the Blue Jackets would be in a similar position that they were this past season, which is one of those teams that is a competitive team, night in, night out, fighting for a playoff spot and finding a way to try and get into the playoffs. And if you get into playoffs, see how far you could go. That was the expectation. It was reasonable to think that. I thought that, and many other Blue Jackets fans thought that this was a team that was good enough to be competitive, fighting for a playoff spot, and get in and see how far you go. However, though, that up until this point, as of January 2026, That has not really happened. It just hasn't. And I think, doing better than expected the first time when you weren't expected to be that good and the higher expectations, and it's not exactly working out well, even though to a certain degree it's not exactly your fault. I think that also did him in as well. There's just so much stuff going on here. It's just like, wow. So it is what it is, I get it to a certain extent. So there's stuff I like about Dean Evison. There's stuff I didn't. But you know what? Thank you for everything, Dean Evison, because you did way better than expected that first season. You won us the outdoor game. There was positive development of Adam Fantilli, Kromachenko, Denton Matejchuk, Voronkov, and so many other guys that happened under you. And it's a little hit and miss. Some bad, some good. But unfortunately, you're gone because the Blue Jackets felt like that this is the move that had to be made. So it is what it is, and we'll just see how it goes here. I've kind of talked for a little bit here, so I'll stop for now, and we'll get Hefty Duck in here and see what he thinks about this.
Yeah, what a crazy event to just seemingly randomly, although it's really not, happened on a random Monday in January. So before I get started here, we got a couple more comments that I want to read real quick. We got Charles Stanforth. He said he's got a funny story for us, and he goes on to tell us about I got my email today to give feedback for being a season ticket holder. I was going through it. I was talking to a buddy of mine. We were talking about all the bad stuff that this team has and stuff, and why I probably wouldn't renew my tickets and stuff. And a couple hours later, or a couple seconds later, they fire the coach. Oh, thanks for the repost as well, man. Yeah, it's funny. I'm sure like it was a little bit planned ahead of time, but the timing of that is pretty funny. Christopher Nienaber, hey, welcome in from YouTube. He says, "Good evening, boys. Sorry I won't be able to catch the whole show tonight. He's in Denver getting ready to watch the Avalanche. Sucks about Dean, but I get it. Something had to be done. Go Jackets. Well, have fun watching your game tonight, man. This sounds like a good time out in Colorado."
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk a little bit about Dean Evison and his short tenure with the Blue Jackets. I'm going to start with something that's not statistics and not factual. And I'm going to talk about last season and the importance that Dean Evison was to the team at that time. I feel like Dean Evison was the right coach at the right time to help the team through the tragedy that was Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Gaudreau passing away. They showed some heart. He got this team fired up. He was a new face to the franchise. And although Johnny didn't play under him, it was I don't know. I thought that he was the guy for the job at that time. As the year has gone on, this year, it's seeming more and more that the room was lost for a short while there, so to speak. And there's been some glaring mistakes the entire year that kind of came over from last year yet too a bit. And so I want to talk about some of those in what my mind are mistakes. So let's look at some stats real quick. We're going to compare Evison and BOWNESS. Oh yeah, and Steve McCarthy too. I was both surprised and not. Okay, this was shocking, but this was not surprising. If you know what I mean, like of course any sort of big news is shocking, but is this really surprising the way that the season has gone? No. Combining it with last season, I'm a little bit surprised, I guess, but not inherently. So, with the Blue Jackets, Dean Evison had 127 games played, 59 wins, 52 losses, 16 overtime losses for 134 points. Gives him a 528 points percentage. Don Waddell was quoted earlier by saying, "We are not performing at a level that meets our expectations." The expectations this year is making that playoff berth, and the Blue Jackets are pretty far out from that right now. McCarthy, it's both surprising, not surprising, just because a lot of times, I don't know, it just seems odd that an assistant coach was targeted, but it depends what he was working on. The special teams have been questionable at times with the Blue Jackets, both last year and this year.
Yeah.
The penalty kill has gotten, I think, quite a bit better since December. But the still questionable at times. Anyway, McCarthy, he became assistant coach in September of 2021 after 5 seasons as an assistant coach with the Monsters. He had an 18-year career in hockey as a defenseman. At one point, he had also won the Calder with Cleveland in 2015, 2016. So, storied career with Cleveland and Columbus. So that's why, very oftentimes you'll kind of keep your own around. That was a pretty important guy to the organization for quite a while. So, let's look at Rick Bowness. So he's 70 years old. Yeah, it's a bit older than Dean Evison. Bowness had last coached for the Winnipeg Jets, and after 2 seasons, he retired. And he cited the reason that he retired was that he was unable to win anymore. He was tired of taking L's. He didn't want to. He felt that he couldn't coach them the way that he wanted to be able to. So, obviously 2 full seasons to Dean Evison's season and a half. So there's a bit of a difference in games here. But in his 2 years with the Jets, he coached them from 2022 to 2024. Those 2 seasons. 164 games played. 98 wins, 57 losses, 9 overtime losses for a .625 points percentage. So, obviously, there are, about 37 more games played under Rick Bowness for his team that he most recently coached for. Obviously, he's been coaching since the 80s. Literally the 80s. He's like the only coach out there right now that has been coaching that long. He's seen it all. He's done it all. He's come to that experience, which, as we've seen with Don Waddell, has been important for him with the players that he's chosen in the offseason and this season so far. So I do find it a little bit surprising that with having that more winning record, he felt that he was letting the team down yet at that time with the Winnipeg Jets. And I don't know. To me, that speaks volumes. I'm hoping that, he's just as sharp as ever. And he's able to bring his experience with him from all the other teams around the NHL to Columbus to move forward. This seems in a way like a similar but smarter move from like Mike Babcock, where you're getting a storied, long-time NHL coach with the pedigree, with the experience to see what he can do with a young team that I don't know. I mean, what you said about it not being all Evanson's fault is absolutely correct. A team is all of its parts. Obviously, Evason is the head of that, the leader of that, which reminds me, one of my favorite Twitter accounts isn't going to be around anymore. Have you seen the Dean Evison General account?
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the funniest things to me ever. I love that so much, but unfortunately, maybe they'll make a General Bones account now or something. But anyway, so yeah, he kind of lost my train of thought there because I was saying some dumb shit. But yeah, I just want to talk a little bit more about Dean Evison's time here with the Blue Jackets. I mean, we've been talking about it. Part of the reason I'm not surprised is because we've been talking about it for the last few weeks about the same things over and over and over. And I kind of started to get a bit of a Brad Larson vibe from everything about how it's like, oh yeah, we're the answers in that room. You're hearing the same thing over and over. And when I notice it start to get dry, when I notice it start to get stale, is when I start hearing the players repeating the same thing over and over too. Because oftentimes, if there's a lot of emotion in the game, and if there's like a lot of fire behind the guys, like they're gonna say what they feel, what they want, as opposed to, yeah, we played with a lot. We played really good tonight. I thought, despite the loss, I thought we played good, which is fair. You could have played worse, but you got shut out. So like you're kind of just hearing the same rhetoric over and over, and to me that's when I'm like, okay, how long can you hear the same thing over and over before you gotta just cut it loose?
Yeah.
And the answer was about 40
January.
games in. So Don Waddell gave Dean Avison the good old college try. Let him, try to expand on the somewhat minor success that he had last season. But yeah, in the last 5 years, Brad Larson, Pascal Vincent, Mike Babcock, Dean Evison, and now Rick BOWNESS will be the fifth coach and fifth in 5 years for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Obviously, I'm throwing Babcock in there for a reason, though he never coached a game. There was definitely, he was starting a shift towards his style of playing. He was, looking at like the training camps and all this stuff. So like he did change the trajectory of the team that way.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about that, Kevin? What do you think about that? Five coaches, 5 years?
So one of the reasons I was not exactly fond of the whole firing Dean Evison thing was Brad Larson didn't really last long, and you got rid of him. And then you went to Mike Babcock, which kind of a risky move. I could see why you did it, kind of a more experienced coach, proving that he can win. It doesn't put up with people's BS, which is what the Blue Jackets needed at that time. And yeah, there's some guys that have developed under him that have become good players. And that's what the Blue Jackets needed at that point in time. To a certain degree, they still need that. Not as much, but back then they needed it much more. So, guy like Babcock, I get it. And then he does, and then you don't even get the chance to have him coach for the Blue Jackets because he does stupid, idiotic phone shenanigans stuff with people's phones and a whole bunch of other junk that was stupid. And then you fire him. And then you essentially, you screw Pascal Vincent over. You kind of did him dirty because all off-season long, Pascal Vincent that summer, was working with Mike Babcock and the other assistant coaches as the assistant coach, working together to put a plan in place for what they wanted to do together for training camp and the season, and like how they wanted the Blue Jackets to play. Well, you essentially screwed that up the moment Mike Babcock gets fired. And then you kind of essentially threw Pascal Vincent to the wolves and said, okay, well, I know you were preparing to be the assistant coach all off season long, but, we need you to be head coach. Oh, good luck. Training camp is in like 2 days and the season is less than a month to go. Here you go. And, that season, for the most part, was just kind of terrible and flushed it down the toilet. And, it is what it is. Some stuff I liked about Pascal Vincent, stuff I didn't. And he's kind of did dirty. You wonder if he would given the chance to prepare a full offseason as a coach, what would have been like. I think it probably would have been better, but we'll never know that. And then you make the decision to fire him. And now at that point in time, that's 3 coaches that you were paying money. Stupid and idiotic. Irresponsible financially. And then the Brad Larson contract goes away, and then you're only paying 2, Mike Babcock and Pascal Vincent. And now those contracts are done. You were only paying 1, Dean Evason. You just got away from that. And now you're paying 2, again, Dean Evason and Rick BOWNESS. Like, at some point, you have to stop doing this thing where you pick a coach and then you fire him. You have to stop doing that, which is a reason why I was kind of against Dean Evason being fired. I get it, but if there was a reason, that's why. Stability matters. When you do stuff like that, when you fire coach, pick a coach, fire coach, pick a coach, that has negative consequences. It sets you back. You can't keep doing this. The Blue Jackets, you need to find a coach and stick with them. That's it. Give them 3-4 years. And if it doesn't work out after that, then fine, you can fire him. But you cannot just keep doing this thing where it's pick a coach, fire a coach, pick a coach, fire a coach, pick a coach, fire a coach. You cannot keep doing this. It needs to stop. It just does. And it's not financially responsible to just keep, blowing through money, paying coach after coach after coach who aren't even working for you anymore. That needs to stop. Because the Blue Jackets, I love you, but you are a small market team. You don't have as much money compared to other teams, so you got to be a little more careful with your money. You can't necessarily afford to be making dumb mistakes again and again and again and again. It's like you got to be better about that. Stop firing all these coaches again and again and again. Pick a coach, stick with it. We need consistency, stability. Firing coaches again and again and again and again does not help that. And now, I think about our team right now. Under the season and a half that Dean Evason is here, the Blue Jackets have played a certain way under him. For the most part, there's been some success. There's been some bad moments with it too. And now, a new guy comes in, and he's going to ask that he's probably going to change some things, and now he's going to ask him to play a different way. Middle of the season, it can be done, but it's a lot harder for when over almost 2 seasons when you're just so used to playing a certain way. What's this going to do to the development of the team? There's some bad stuff, but also some good stuff. We are seeing some positive development from guys like Dmitry Voronkov, Kirill Marchenko, Adam Fantilli, Denton Matejchuk, and some other young guys too. Heck, even some of the older veteran guys have looked good. Charlie Coyle, Zach Werenski, Ivan Provorov, Sean Monahan, Boone Jenner to a certain extent have also looked good under Dean Evason. That could potentially screw them up too. Or, a new coach could get right in there and they could be better. I just don't know. That's just the one thing about doing this consistently new coach thing that the Blue Jackets have been doing. It does not benefit them. It's not necessarily beneficial. So they just need to stop doing this fire the coach thing, pick a coach and stick with it because they need stability. They just can't keep doing this. Hoping for the best here. Hope it works out with Rick BOWNESS. He's proven he can be a good coach time and time again. And his best achievement has been that he got the Stars to the Stanley Cup final in 2020. And now we got a little surprise guest appearance from Ian. good to see Ian here. If his camera turns on, he's kind of got the little circle thing here. So we'll wait for him to, get in here. But, hoping for the best. He can't, for Rick Bowness, he's proven he can be a good coach, got the Stars to the Stanley Cup final in 2020, and they need stability. You can't keep firing these coaches again and again and again. You just can't keep doing that. So that's all I'll say for now. We'll get Ian in here. Of course, the big news of the day is Steve McCarthy's gone, Dean Evason is gone, and Rick Bowness is in. So, Ian, your thoughts on just what's going on with the Blue Jackets?
Well, it's not a usual Blue Jackets move. If I recall correctly, we've only seen it once in the Yarmo era when Todd Richards' team started 0-8. But I'm not upset with it. I think it sends a strong message to the team that they're still bought in for this season. They're not going to keep the status quo and accept mediocrity. And I think that's important for a team to know that what's going on right now isn't going to work for the entire year. The Steve McCarthy part, he handled defense and penalty kill, which honestly, the penalty kill has come a really long way. So I was just a little surprised by that. Defense, obviously, you got some injuries with Goodbranson, Smith, and there have been some issues. Christensen started the season a little slow. But all in all, I don't think he's done a bad job, but it's more about sending a message, and that's kind of the style of the industry. It's brutal. It's a brutal business, but the message has been sent, and now the ball's in the Blue Jackets' court to see what they want to do.
I agree with that. I like that, and the penalty kill didn't start out very good, but the season went along. It's gotten really good, and it's kind of become a strength of the Blue Jackets. So
since mid-November, or mid-December, excuse me, they're number one in the league. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how long it takes them to name another assistant.
Yeah.
I don't expect it'll be a long time. But also, I mean, my phone was blown up the entire day of, people asking me what happened and why the timing, especially after that big win last night versus Utah.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, when they have something lined up like this, where it's an external hire, it's not an interim head coach that has been with the team, that means the move has been discussed for a while. They've been in contact with BOWNESS, and they were waiting to pull the trigger. So it didn't have anything to do with the win last night. The win last night was a great win.
Yes.
It's one that they needed. I'm sure you guys have already discussed that.
No. We were gonna obviously do the big coaching news, and then after that get into the game. So we haven't done that yet.
Oh, okay. No worries. Yeah, but it came out of left field. I'll be honest, it surprised me. I was actually putting together my podcast episode that we're filming on Wednesday, and that completely turned the entire itinerary around for that, as you can imagine. So, by the way, for anybody listening, Ohio Hockey Digest is launching a podcast, Chirping from the Bench. We're planning on releasing the first episode on Thursday. We have Ryan Ward lined up, also the first time announcing that here. So Ryan Ward is a head coach for the Youngstown Phantoms in the USHL. He's been with the Maple Leafs and the Islanders as a video coach. He's been all around the AHL as an assistant coach, and it should be a fun time. Should be a fun episode.
Yeah, so that's good. Ian, I'm going to ask you to kind of turn off your TV there, because I've seen clips where they have TV on in the background and then they get dinged for copyright.
Knock on wood, it's pretty small.
Yeah.
I'd have gotten an email alert already.
Just to be safe.
We've got our stream taken out a few times, mostly because audio and certain clips we play.
Yeah. But anyways, that's besides the point. So, so Steve McCarthy, penalty kill got better, so he's certainly doing his job there, but defense isn't the greatest. So, little give, a little take, it is what it is. But no, I said earlier on that I don't necessarily agree with it because it's not exactly entirely Dean Evason's fault, but I get it. It's easier to fire the coach than get rid of the players who are doing the stuff, and you can only do so much for so long. So I get it, go get someone different, and that's Rick BOWNESS, and he's proven he can be a good coach. And his big thing most recently is in 2020 got the Stars to the Stanley Cup final. So that absolutely counts for something.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of the reason the Blue Jackets look towards him is he just has a very different style than Evason. A lot of Evason's hockey is dump and chase, getting the dirty areas. And you've seen the way it's affected guys like Kent Johnson. And I'm not saying that's why Kent Johnson has underperformed so far this year.
No.
There's certainly multiple factors, but something like this could change the systems a little bit, change the way the Jackets are playing, hopefully clean up the third periods. That's a big point of emphasis that I'm sure they'll want to take care of immediately. But we're going to look at guys like Kent Johnson. We're going to look at guys like Sean Monahan, who's battling through an injury, brutal injury.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a test to see if they can pull it together. And obviously, Adam Fantilli, even though he's played well, he knows he's capable of more. He knows he's above a point per game player when he's on. So maybe this would be the kind of kickstart they need to get this second half of the season started right.
Yeah, I agree with that. Anything else to say, Hefty Duck, before we get to the games here?
Yeah, sometimes you can get that coaching bump too from there's 12 games till the Olympic break. I just read that.
Yeah.
And so this could maybe help the Blue Jackets just get where they need to be. There's 4 teams above them in the NHL that have a 1 point difference. There's 4 teams below them in the NHL that are like 1 to 2 or 3 points difference at most. It's still close. The entire league is still very close. Obviously, the guys at the top are kind of pretty far up there, but below that, a couple points could just make that difference.
And if you're going to make a move like this is kind of the time to make it, because you don't want to wait until you're already out of the race. And that's the thing. They're at the bottom of the Metro right now, but they're still very much in the race for the playoffs. And it takes one hot streak, as we saw with Buffalo. Buffalo's in a similar situation. It took one hot streak, and now they're on fire, and they look like one of the hottest teams in the NHL. They might make a bid for the playoffs. So it's not an unreachable goal to say the Blue Jackets could make the playoffs this year. It's definitely still in reach, especially considering they were in a similar spot last year. This time. They ended up 1 point out of the playoffs. So well, it's a good test for them, good test for the group, good test for management. See how things go from here. I'm actually going to take off. I was just popping in real quick to say what's up.
Fair enough.
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
Thanks for being here.
I'll see you guys.
That's right.
Have a good one, Ian.
All right. All right. So
Ian Phillips from the Ohio Hockey Digest.
So
he's his new podcast coming out this Thursday. Chirps from the Bench.
Checks out. All right. So I guess that's enough for now. We do have other stuff to talk about, which is the last 4 games that the Blue Jackets have played. So starting off with the Blue Jackets, the first game since our last show, they played a game against the San Jose Sharks in San Jose. And the Blue Jackets lost that game 5-2. And, it was an okay game. It's like a 3 out of 10 for me. And the reason it was this, is that the first period, you definitely played a good first period. Definitely one of the better periods that you've played. It's just, it and you had some chances to score, you couldn't put it away, and then you give up the goal there to go down 1-0 after one. Outside of giving up that goal, I think pretty good period there. Then the second period was basically a 1 out of 10 period. Not good at all. You weren't playing a real good game. You get another goal, gets scored on you, until towards the end of the period when you get a big goal from Zach Werenski. You're in the offensive zone. You're putting the pressure on get a couple shots on goal. Eventually, Zach Werenski gets the puck. He shoots and scores. And it was an awesome goal by Zach Werenski. It's one of the better goals that he scored all season long because it was a snipe, and he just blew it by the Sharks goalie. Sharks goalie had no chance on that one. Good goal, Zach Werenski. We get to the third period, and for a good chunk of that third period, it was a good third period for the Blue Jackets. They played a good game. And then they give up a goal to make it 3-1, and it's just like they had a brain fart moment. You're in the offensive zone, and the smarter move would just, doing what you've been doing all period long is just pucks on net, shoot the puck, put the pressure on. You've been getting some good chances. They don't do that. Instead of shooting the puck, you try and make a play where it's not. It gets picked off. It goes the other way. The Sharks shoot and score. Shortly after that, the Blue Jackets get a big goal from Sean Monahan to make it 3-2. But that's why giving up that third goal is such a big issue. Because if you don't do that, it's tied up at 2. And the way things were going in that game, probably would have gone to overtime, and then you have a chance to win it there. But because you give up that goal, it's 3-2. Then you pull the goalie twice. You're not able to score. The Sharks score 2. It's 5-2. And it's just, And you're looking at that game like you should have had that one. You had moments to win that. And other than the 2 goals and some good play, you really couldn't get it done. And it just, it's. So that was a 3 out of 10 game for me. Could have been better.
Yeah. That's pretty shit. But plainly, the game was a little closer than the scoreboard might indicate too. The 2 of the San Jose Sharks goals were empty net goals towards the end of the game. Although they don't ask how, they ask how many. I get it. Alexander Wennberg got a little bit of revenge. I don't know if you say that. Back towards the Blue Jackets this game too with his power play goal. But Werenski coming out big again, Monahan coming out big again. The penalties in the second period were kind of out of control. Kind of very out of control. There's one thing I want to talk about real quick, and that is Matthew Olivier against Ryan Reeves. This was the heavyweight bout of the year. Hold on, let me I'm risking it here for the biscuit because I want to show this because this was a fantastic fight. And I want to point out, so the San Jose announcer at one point said, we're not going to share any audio, said that he thought Olivier caught him with an elbow. That did not happen. I can point out pretty much exactly how it's not. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and roll a tape. I'll kind of explain what's going on for our audio listeners out there too. Anyway, right off the rip, right off the drop, they're shedding the gloves. They're, everyone knows what's going on. They're ready to throw down. Last year they met up when Blue Jackets played against Toronto. Then Olivier also was voted unofficially to have won that fight. So here they go in for the grapple. Both of them get a pretty good grapple flip on each other, but Reeves' helmets goes flying like right in the beginning. Here they're just kind of trading punches back and forth. Reeves obviously getting right there. Okay, so Reeves obviously getting the worst of it since his helmet was off. But what really, really rocks him is so Reeves tries to push him back. You see his left hand. He loses the grip.
And that boom.
He loses the grip on Olivier, which is, if you notice, Olivier's right arm is kind of going in the crook of the elbow there too. So they're rocking, socking, roboting. Looks like here. Let me show you right where the Reeves loses grip. It's just about right here. So Olivier shook him loose there. Revo loses his left hand on the grip on Olivier's jersey. And right here, you can just see Reeves in like a very helpless position. And Olivier, I mean, it's blurry. I know it's the replay, but he just looks determined. He's about to knock the sense right out of him. So right here, Reeves still doesn't have a good grip. He's like got Olivier by the face. He's gonna grab a little bit of a grip, but like it's gonna be a little bit too late. And it looks like Olivier has a grip of his jersey, but like his sleeve or something. Wait, was that the big punch? Yeah. Okay. So while Reeves is fumbling around to get that grip on him, Olivier comes over top right here. You can see him eyeing him right up with a big old punch right to the jaw, right there. And then here's where the San Jose Sharks announcers thought that he caught him with an elbow, is when his arm goes past him right here. But as you plainly see, when his arm comes back up, it's like the back of his hand is kind of flinging Reeves' head up. Also, I didn't realize that Ryan Reeves had that long hair. But so then down he goes. Olivier kind of, holds him up as he's going to the ground so he doesn't smack his head off the ice or anything crazy. Because I think at that point, I don't know that Reeves was out or anything, but I don't know if you've ever gotten knocked in the head hard and you just get wobbly for a sec or something. That's just gonna happen at times. Even if you don't get fully knocked out. I'm just gonna go keep an eye on our emails just in case we get yelled at for this.
Yeah.
All right, now we're good. Okay. Anyway, so that's a little bit of a breakdown of how he got that good punch on Reeves, because they're both, like I said, kind of rocking, roboting each other. Reeves neither has a visor. I think Steve Mears mentioned this in the broadcast several times. Reeves doesn't have a visor, and his helmet came off real quick. Yeah. And as Cody Shelley, a famed fighter himself, was talking about how that was a pretty big disadvantage. Shelley had also mentioned something about how in some fights, in some cases like this, the guy that doesn't have the visor might be asked to remove their helmets. They give you an extra 2 minutes for that if you remove your own helmet. If it comes flying off, that's one thing. But if you take yours off and set it to the ground, that's an extra 2 minutes. So they were fair fight. Yeah. Anyway, visor or not, Olivier had this. He's what, 22-0 now, 21-0 unofficially.
Oh God, yeah.
So let me just play out the rest of this real quick. I'm gonna play it at full speed here one time, just while commenting on it a little bit. I just kind of pause it there the whole time. So, stick taps already going out. Fans on their feet at center ice, right in center stage, is perfect for this kind of fight too. I mean, these are big dudes. These are two of the best fighters in the NHL, and they're feeling each other out here real good, going in for the grapple. Olivier definitely gets a little bit better on him. You can see Revo's no slouch, though. He's shaking him up. He's trying to shake his grip on him. Yeah, Olivier never actually loses his full grip. He's got his jersey the whole time. And then as soon as he's down, everything stops. They're good. Later on, these two were seen talking across the penalty box to each other. And I believe that, they're both complimenting each other, or it was fair. Nothing malicious here. Two guys firing up their teams, firing up the fans. Good for him. Boom, rocked him right in the side of the head there. That's gotta hurt the knuckles there on the skull, But that's what dropped him ultimately. That's a much better replay than me slowing it down was. Yeah, solid fight. Is it amazing enough to call it a fight of the year candidate?
Nah.
Personally, I like seeing Ryan Reeves get rocked a little bit. Like if he was on my team, like I would like him as a player on my team, but he throws some pretty hard hits out there on people sometimes, and I don't think there's any intent to injure really, but he doesn't hold back, and not a big deal. It's hockey for you, but when you got some young guys on your team, you don't want to see it get rocked too hard. It's always I don't know. Just nice to see Olivier maintaining top fighter in the league.
Yeah.
So anyway,
yeah.
Fucking 9 out of 10 fight. Good job. 3 out of 10
Yeah.
game. Bad job.
Yeah. All right. Anyways,
blow it. On to the next.
On to the next game. The Blue Jackets play the Vegas Golden Knights in Vegas. The Blue Jackets lose that game 5-3. So that first period was one of the better first periods they played all season. They scored 2 goals. They get one from Boone Jenner. They get one from Kent Johnson. Vegas scores a goal, but it's 2-1. But other than that, you played a good first period. Now, the second period was god-awful and one of the worst periods you played all season long because you were playing a good game, you were up 2-1, and then you give up 3 goals. And now you're down 4-2. You just can't do that. And again, we've talked about this on the show before, but 3 of the 5 goals that get scored on the Blue Jackets are because Jet Greaves can't defend stuff up high. They found the weakness that Jet Greaves has, which is shoot high. He has trouble with that. And it is what it is. Jet Greaves is a shorter goalie. You can't control height. That's just kind of part of who he is. But with that, there are positives and negatives. And the negative is you can't cover the upper part of the net as well. And because of that, you're getting exploited because of that. Teams now know that if you shoot high on Jet Greaves, there's a good chance you're going to score because he has trouble covering the net because of that. And that's what happened. 3 of the 5 goals that got scored on Jet Greaves were up high. So, that's just something that Jet Greaves is just going to have to figure out a way around. He's going to have to find a way around that because you can't keep have that happen. You can't keep letting that happen where it's just basically an easy goal because you score up high. Elvis Merzlikins, that his issue is the glove side. It still happens, but not as much. He's getting better on the glove side. So Jet Greaves, you're just going to have to figure out a way to find a way around that and not give up so many goals up high. Because that's going to be an issue if that keeps going. Now, we get to the third period. Blue Jackets are playing a better game. You get a big goal from Kromarchenko to make it 4-3. And then you have the puck in your offensive zone. You're putting the pressure on. You're getting some good chances. And, Denton Matejchuk, you've been really good for the Blue Jackets this season. But from my perspective, you kind of had a brain fart moment there. You were trying to make a play when it's not there. Forcing a play when it's not there. It gets picked off. It goes the other way. They shoot and score. And what do you know? Up high again. And that was really if you don't do that, your chances of winning go up. But you do that, unfortunately, and you lose 5-3. So there were moments in that game where you played good and moments where you didn't. So 4 out of 10 for me. That stuff I like, but stuff I didn't could have been better. 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that because part of what pissed me off so bad about this loss was how good they started out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's I don't know what the statistics are, but the majority of the time, sorry, I clicked something. The majority of the time, the first team to score wins. It's not every time, obviously, but the majority. And so a good goal by Boone Jenner. It's great little tip in. Kent Johnson with only his 4th goal of the season. We'll see. Maybe that could get improved here in a bit. Maybe, I don't know. Dude, these last few games, I saw so many different lines and line combos, and I'm just like, I just remember looking at the one line and being like, what are you doing? What is going on here? And like Ian said earlier with the coaching change thing, like this has been decided for like a little while, because it's not just like they woke up this morning and were like, hey, Rick Bonus, can you tell me in 5 minutes, can you start? You know, no. This has been a little bit, few days at least. And this was 4 days ago that this game was going on. I don't think a win here would have saved anyone's job. I don't think any more wins in the last week would have saved anyone's job, but here we are. Anyway. Yeah, that first goal from Riley Smith, that was stupid. It's a nice tip in. That's what happens when you let the team in your offensive zone for like 40 seconds, barely challenged. I've been seeing that a lot too. I'm going to kind of bitch about that in their win too. Good win, but it's definitely some stuff to work on. Riley Smith coming in with another goal to start off the score in the second period. Jack Eichel with a goal. Can't leave him open. You can't let him take shots. Same with Mark Stone. So there's very few penalties this game. There's only one penalty from the Vegas Golden Knights and one penalty from the Blue Jackets. And unfortunately, during this penalty, the Blue Jackets, even though their PK has gotten better, Mark Stone got one and got his 14th goal of the season for the Vegas Golden Knights. So that made it 4-2. So Blue Jackets got to come out hot in the third period. And what is the toughest period for the Blue Jackets? The third period. But Kirill Marchenko gave the Blue Jackets a little bit of hope, coming out there, scoring his 16th goal of the season to make it 4-3. Blue Jackets down. But Brett Howden kind of capped off the scoring for the Knights. About 4 minutes left to go in the game, so that was it. Like I said, very few penalties. Mark Stone started the game, got 1 goal, 2 assists. Riley Smith, 2 goals. Jack Eichel, goal and assist. So this was just kind of disappointing overall. Like when you see 2 top players scoring goals in the first period, then you just blow it. You just absolutely let it get away from you. The second period was the Jackets' worst period. First period, I'll give you a solid 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Third period, hell, I'll give you a 7 out of 10. That would have been a 7.5 out of 10 game for me. If not for the second period, that brings it down to a 3.5 out of 10 for me. That's rough.
Yeah.
Almost as bad as the next.
So the Blue Jackets playing Colorado against the Colorado Avalanche. And I have many mixed feelings about this because at first you look at it, you lose 4-0. That's bad. Giving up 4 goals is bad. I don't like that. But then you also have to look at it this way. The Blue Jackets did something that increases your chances of beating Colorado, which is this. If you are playing the Colorado Avalanche, you need to try your best to keep the puck away from Cal McCarr and Nathan McKinnon. Let someone else have the puck. And that's exactly what they did. They did an awesome job of that. They were not an issue in that game at all. That is not the reason that, normally, the Avalanche have games that they win that you look back at, Cal McCarr had a good game, or Nathan McKinnon had a good game, and they were a reason why they won the game. Not this game. You look at this game and you can't say that. So they did good in that regard. And Elvis Merzlikins, who hasn't played in a bit now, got his first start. And he gave up 4 goals, but in my opinion, I'm not really blaming any of the goals on him. Not really his fault. It's lazy defense in front of him. He still played a good game and still made some big saves to keep the Blue Jackets in the game. And in my opinion, without Elvis Merzlikins, that's a game that's like 8-0. And we're without Elvis Merzlikins, we're sitting here talking about how they lose 8-0 instead of 4-0. That's how much of a difference he made that game, even though he gave up 4 goals. So there's that. And defensively, minus giving up the 4 goals, that was the only thing they did wrong defensively. Everything else was good. They, generally speaking, didn't really give the Avalanche much to shoot at. But it's just when you do stupid, dumb mistakes, brain farts that lead to the puck going in the net, you're going to lose. The first goal happens because Heinen, he's just standing there in front of Elvis Merzlikins. Now, there's only one reason you do that. You think that someone's going to shoot it, so you want to get in the way to block the shot so that Elvis Merzlikins doesn't get it. That's fine. But he doesn't do that. He's just standing there. And if you are not going to block the shot, then you need to get out of the way. Because if you're just going to stand there and not block the shot, you are not helping yourself. You're not helping Elvis Merzlikins. You're not helping out the Blue Jackets. Because what happens is, because you're just standing there, Elvis Merzlikins can't see it, and then the puck goes in the net. And Elvis Merzlikins got a little emotional there. Some didn't like it, some did, but I get it. I get why Elvis Merzlikins did that. Because he's standing there looking at him like, dude, like, what are you doing? Block the shot or get out of the way so I can see it. That was an easily preventable goal there. But it happened. The second goal happens because it's lazy. There's a puck. The Avalanche have their puck in the offensive zone. There's a puck battle along the boards. And you're just puck watching. You're just standing there. You're not really doing anything. Like, let's go, guys. Come on. Let's put in some effort here. Go get that puck. Win that board battle. But you didn't do that. You're just standing there, puck watching, doing nothing, hoping that maybe the puck goes to you and maybe you can get it out of your defensive zone. But you don't do that. You're just standing there doing nothing, puck watching. And then the Avalanche, they win the board battle. They get the puck. They shoot and score. Again, that was preventable. Work hard. Put some effort into it. Win that puck battle along the boards. Go get the puck. You do that, you don't have to worry about that goal, but you didn't do that. And then, third goal happens because, bad turnovers, and it becomes a 2-on-1, and you essentially hang Elvis Merzlikins out to dry. Lazy. Again, don't do that. But you did it anyways. And then fourth goal is kind of a shot from up high. Kind of deflection, kind of hard to see. He gets scored on. It is what it is. Maybe clear the crease a little bit so we can see it, but it is what it is. So honestly, that's like a 3 out of 10 for me, because that could have been a lot worse if not for Elvis Merzlikins and there's some moments in the game where you did play good, but that could have been a lot worse. 3 out of 10.
Yeah. Getting a shutout against you is rough. I think it's a decent point there about Elvis Merzlikins. I mean, if you screen him and don't play defense in front of him and just let them rip wide open shots on his glove side, yeah, they're gonna score 4 goals. Now we have to look at the other half of the blame here of not scoring a single goal.
Yep.
You can't blame a loss on Elvis when you didn't score a goal.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't have won anyway.
Yeah.
You have to score to win. So everyone, I get it. I totally get, oh, you see your team loses, they get 4 goals scored on them. Like, oh yeah, the goalie sucks, so you got 4 goals scored on him. Yeah, well, he's still pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I don't pin this loss on Elvis at all. I mean, you can't now if the Blue Jackets would have scored 3 goals and then in the third period the Avs come out and score 3 to get up 4-3, yeah, maybe then we can start bitching about it a bit more. But no, this was I think another poor decision here on Dean Evason's part was not playing Elvis for as long as he did.
Yep.
It's not like Elvis doesn't get practice, doesn't get to do other things, but you're coming in a little bit cold at that point after not having played since December 20th or something like that. So 8 straight starts for Jet Greaves. That's one thing we can talk about with the 2 prior games as well, was being his 7th and 8th starts. So yeah, holy shit. No wonder you're getting worn out. No wonder you're getting beat here and there sometimes too. And could Ellis have maybe possibly gotten some of those? Possibly. I'm going to talk about something a little bit, I guess, ironic. One, I'm not really a big Brent Burns fan. I think that I love aggressive players, but I think that he's just kind of a jerk about it, standing over someone and yelling in their face or whatever. So I'm not the biggest fan, but yeah, he got the first goal for the Abs. The secondary assist from who? Gavin Brindley, one of our favorite former Blue Jackets prospects.
Yeah.
Really bummed to see him make his way over to the Avs, but it is what it is. Hockey's a business. I get it. But then that comes back to bite the Blue Jackets again in the third period. Brent Burns with a secondary assist from Gavin Brindley again. Giving Ilya Solyevov, God, I can't. Hockey names are the worst sometimes.
Russian. It's a Russian.
Yeah, that's all you need to know.
Russian.
He got his first goal of the season against the Blue Jackets. Yeah. I mean, they were pretty good about not getting penalties. They killed off the 2 that they had. Avs killed off the 2 that they had, but find a way to score. One thing that's a bit relieving about all this, oh yeah, I'll give that one a 3 out of 10. I almost want to give it a 2 out of 10. If they would have scored a goal, I'd have given them 5 out of 10 at least. A single goal, but you didn't. 29 shots. You only had 2 less shots than the Avs did on goal. I don't know about attempts, but the one relieving thing about these last 2 losses is that Blue Jackets will not have to play the Golden Knights or the Avs again the rest of the season.
Right.
They will play the Sharks again at home on March 28th. So they have one more chance to get back at them for that loss. But yeah, overall, pretty bad game. I was not impressed.
No.
We have at least something good to talk about.
Yes, before we get there, though, I would like to bring this up because you brought up, you didn't like how Elvis Merzlikins hasn't played a lot. And I recently put this up on our show's Twitter page, and it got some good reviews, good traction. So it says, Jet Greaves has been an awesome player for the Blue Jackets. He's played awesome for the Blue Jackets. He's definitely earned more playing time, but you can't keep playing him all the time. You have to give him a break every so often, which means playing Elvis Merzlikins. I know that the Blue Jackets are not very fond of that, but you have to do it. Elvis Merzlikins is average at best, sometimes bad. He lets in a goal that he should not, but he does it anyways. There are games where Elvis Merzlikins is a reason why the Blue Jackets lose. There are games where Elvis Merzlikins is a reason why the Blue Jackets win a game, because he makes a big save to keep the Blue Jackets in the game. The Blue Jackets outdoor game is a perfect example of that. Elvis Merzlikins is also really good in shootouts. He's a big reason why the Blue Jackets are 9-2 in the last 11 shootouts the Blue Jackets have been in. At minimum, Elvis Merzlikins should be playing on back-to-backs if the Blue Jackets continue this trend of playing Chet Greaves for most of the games for the Blue Jackets. This tweet in particular, 7 retweets, 100 likes, 2 bookmarks, 6 responses, and over 6,000 views. So obviously people liked what I had to say there, which is basically you have to play Elvis Merzlikins a little bit. I'm not saying you got to do it all the time, but just a little bit, because you can't keep doing this thing where you play Jet Greaves all the time. You just can't. Jet Greaves, awesome player for the Blue Jackets. He's played awesome. He definitely deserves more playing time. He's earned the ice time. But at the same time, you got to give him a break. Every so often, give him a break, because you're going to tire him out. You don't want to be in a situation during the season where you really need Jet Greaves for a big game and you can't use him because you tired him out. Like, that's something that the Blue Jackets need to be better about. And yes, I understand that the Blue Jackets, are not very fond of Elvis Merzlikins right now. I get that. There are games that the Blue Jackets lose because of him, but at the same time, there's also games that the Blue Jackets win because of him, where he makes a big save to keep the Blue Jackets in the game, where he's really good in shootouts and the Blue Jackets win because of that. There's games where Elvis Merzlikins has taken over a game and they win because of that. The Blue Jackets outdoor game is an example of that. Last season, the Blue Jackets beat the Devils 4-2, and a big reason for that is because of Elvis Merzlikins. The Blue Jackets were not playing a good game that game, but Elvis Merzlikins made some big saves to keep the Blue Jackets in the game that gave the Blue Jackets a chance to get going, to get in the game, and then they'd score some goals, and then they win. So, you have to play Elvis Merzlikins a little bit. Accept the fact that he is hit and miss. Accept the fact that Elvis Merzlikins is average at best. Accept the fact that, you know what? You're going to get a game where he's going to let in a goal or two that he shouldn't, but he does. But also you're going to get a game where he's awesome and he makes big saves to keep the Blue Jackets in the game. And he's good in shootouts. So you're going to get good games too. And the Blue Jackets win in part because of him. So you're just going to have to accept that. That's just how it is. Play out Elvis Merzlikins every so often and just give Jet Greaves a break. Because you can't keep doing this thing where you play Jet Greaves again and again and again and again and again. Especially on back-to-backs. The last 2 back-to-backs, where Jet Greaves played both of them, that was, in my opinion, unacceptable. He's played good, but you need to give him a break. So at least this time, with this back-to-back in Colorado and Utah, that you gave Jet Greaves a break, which is good to see. So you need, if the Blue Jackets are going to continue to do this thing where 9 times out of 10 you're playing Jet Greaves, then you need to give him a break every so often and play Elvis Merzlikins. He's going to have a bad game, but also have a good game. And he's a reason why you lose, but he's also a reason why the Blue Jackets win.
Yeah, no, that's kind of like what I was getting at for sure. I'm gonna go back to a few comments here. Sorry, I missed this like an hour ago. Charles Stanforth, he says, he asked, "Is this the first time in franchise history?" Sorry, going back to the coach thing just real quick. That we have fired a coach mid-season? No, sir, it is not. Gerard Gallant fired in 2006, midway through his season. Gary Agnew took over for the final 5 games of the season there, I believe.
Scott Arniel.
Yeah.
Scott Arniel, Todd Richards.
Claude Noel. Ken Hitchcock got fired mid-season.
Todd Richards got fired for then John Tortorella, which obviously worked out. So it's happened.
Yep. And there is only one unique firing, though. One very unique firing for the Blue Jackets. And that's they fired a coach before the season started. No games played.
Yeah.
Anyway, another comment here is from back when we were talking about the Ryan Reeves fight. Olivier, 21-0 fight since joining Columbus. Absolutely. He's such a beast.
All right. All right. So on to the next game, in which the Blue Jackets get a big win against the Utah Mammoth. They win 3-2 in overtime. Now, honestly, that was an 8 out of 10 game for me. So you start out the period, you play a good game, you're putting the shoot, getting some chances, and eventually you get a big goal from Mikel Putia. And it was a snipe, awesome goal, blew it past the Utah goalie, no chance. But another thing I like about this, and I'm going to say this about all 3 goals that the Blue Jackets scored on this game, which is no shenanigans, no BS, just shoot the puck, put the puck on the net. You have a chance to shoot, do it. And that's exactly what the Blue Jackets did in all 3 of their goals. There have been so many times this season where the Blue Jackets have a good opportunity to score. They don't shoot the puck. They try passing the puck, fancy play. It doesn't work. It gets picked off. It goes the other way. And now you have nothing. And that upsets me so much. I understand why you do it. There's a time and place for it. But most of the time it's like, no, don't do that. That was terrible. Why did you do that? Shoot the puck. But in this game, the Blue Jackets did not do that. They had chances to shoot the puck. They did that. They put the pressure on. And all 3 goals they scored, it's just put the puck on the net. No shenanigans, no BS. Now, you do give up a goal there, but it's a goofy goal because it's a deflection, and then it hits a couple other guys. It goes high up in the air, and then it bounces into the net. It happens. They can't really do much about that goal. But other than giving up that goal, I'd say that was a pretty good period, 9 out of 10 for the Blue Jackets. Now, doesn't start off very good because you give up a goal there, you're down 2-1. It's kind of And, it was just kind of there. It was okay. But that was Utah's period for most of that period. But then you get a big goal from Charlie Coyle on the power play. And it happens because of this. Again, like Mikel Putia, you have the puck, shoot. That's it. No messing around. Yes, it's set up with a couple passing plays here and there. But as soon as Charlie Coyle got it, it's shoot. He didn't get it on the first try. He didn't get it on the second try. And then it goes to Adam Fantilli. And then Adam Fantilli shoots. He doesn't get it. But then there's Charlie Coyle. He shoots and scores. Why? Because Charlie Coyle shoots first. He doesn't get it. And then he tries again. He doesn't get it. And then Adam Fantilli tries. He doesn't get it. But every time you shoot the puck, you're putting pressure on the defense and you get the team moving. And once you get the team moving, all that defensive structure that you have is gone. And then holes that were not open are now open. And once you get them moving, checking with that, metaphorically speaking, checking with the head cut off, you're scrambling. That's when you capitalize, because they're not exactly focused on playing good defense. It's just, oh God, there's pucks all over the place. We got to put a stop to it. We've got to put a stop to it. And because of that, you score on the fourth try. Didn't get it on the first one or the second one or the third one, but then Charlie gets it on the fourth one, jams it in there, shoots and scores. And it all starts because of one shot by Charlie Coyle by shooting the puck. He could have just done what other people would have done is, no, this isn't here, and pass the puck to someone else. Look for that perfect shot. He didn't do that. He had the puck kind of right by the net and just shoot, and eventually he scored. His shot created 3 different chances to score until he got it on the fourth one. Shoot the puck. That's what I want to see. Then we get to the third period. And honestly, pretty evenly matched, third period. Utah had some chances. The Blue Jackets had some chances. But towards the end of the third period, there is a tripping call called on Utah. Adam Fantilli gets tripped, though in my opinion, I wouldn't have called it a trip. That looked like more of an interference, but that's just me. So, it's besides the point. I think, in my opinion, it should have been an interference call, not a tripping call, but whatever. It is what it is. So Blue Jackets have a chance to put it away in the third period. They don't get it done. However, though, we go to overtime, and now it becomes a 4-on-3. And I'm going to show this goal later on in the show. But that was like one of the best power plays that the Blue Jackets have had all season long, because you're shooting the puck, you put the pressure on, and most importantly, Utah had multiple times where they tried to get it out and they could not get it out because there were big plays to keep the puck in the offensive zone. They tried getting out the first time, and it's a play right in front of the net that the Blue Jackets make to keep the puck in the offensive zone. And they try and get it out again, and the Blue Jackets keep it in. And then one more play to try and get it out. And Kromarchenko at the last moment, good hustle on the play to outwork the Utah defense to get to the puck at the point and keep it in. Marchenko has the puck. He passes it. Makes a couple passes. The puck goes to Zach Werenski. And again, Werenski, no screwing around, no BS. As soon as Werenski gets the puck, he shoots it right at the net. And what happens? He shoots it right at the net. Dmitry Voronkov is right there. Puck bounces off his stick. It goes into the net. Blue Jackets win 3-2 in overtime. And because again, Zach Werenski, he could have done something different. He could have gotten the puck and maybe wait for a different play, pass it around, look for a different play. But he didn't do that. As soon as he got the puck, it's shoot the puck, put it on net. Because either you shoot and score, or you don't shoot and score, someone scores on a rebound, someone gets it, they pass the puck to someone else, they shoot and score, or what happened, which is Zach Werenski shoots the puck, Dmitry Ronkov's right in front of the net, puck bounces off his stick and it goes right in. All 3 goals happened because the Blue Jackets, no screwing around, no BS, shoot the puck, put the puck on the net. And outside of giving up the 2 goals there, that was a real good game that the Blue Jackets played. 8 out of 10 game. Nicely done, Blue Jackets. Keep going.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with the 8 out of 10. Some people might look at the 2 goals that were scored and be like, "Yeah, well, maybe more of a 6 or 7 out of 10." Sorry, no fucking pun intended. Kill me, please.
Yeah.
6, 7 thing. Sorry.
You
Anyway,
know, I
so
get
the
that.
first goal that was scored by the Mammoth, it was kind of a blooper. You know, it hops up, it kind of hits Jet Greaves on the back of the shoulder a little bit and then bounces in.
Yeah.
What can you do? I
Yeah.
mean, what can you do? It's not like Jet Greaves can like see super far up or down. He's got the whole helmet, the full helmet around his face. So
Yeah.
shit's gonna happen. It's just one of those shits. But let's talk about Mikhail Putio real quick, dude.
Great
What
goal.
he first. This is his third game of this season,
Yeah.
and that's his first
Really
goal
good.
of the season for his first
Really
point.
good. Really.
But Putio is not brand new to the NHL. He made
No.
his NHL debut in the 2022-23 season for the Blue Jackets. He played 2 games. The next season, he played 17. Last year, he had his most games in the NHL ever with 47. He played over half a season's worth of games for the Blue Jackets. He had 4 goals, 3 assists for 7 points. You know, he does really well down for the Monsters, very, very well, and he's been shown to be able to hold his own. And this just goes to show how fast he really is.
Mhm.
Because as soon as he gets that puck, he's straight there. He's straight to the goal. Like fans almost don't even react right away because I don't like know if they didn't realize that it was like
Yep.
a goal.
Goal.
Right. I think some people on the ice didn't really realize it too. They're like, "Oh, he shot," and then they're looking for the rebound, and they realize, "Oh, wait, it's in."
Yep.
And just so fast. Love to see it. Good job for him. Maybe it'll keep him around for an extra game or 2. I haven't looked at the waiver wire lately if he got sent back down or not yet, but
No.
phenomenal play by you. Good job because that ended up being, you know, a very important goal for that game. Charlie Coyle being in the right place at the right time. The Mikhail Sergachev goal for the Mammoth is also kind of a bit of a blooper going in. You still got, I don't know. It looked like he was kind of screened by his own guy. I'm sorry, Greaves was screened a little bit by his own player, and I don't know, anything that's like screen like that or deflections. That's gotta be one of the hardest things to save. You just can't see what's coming at you. But anyway, on the power play goal for the Blue Jackets, and this was very, very important goal. You know how like all season long I've been complaining about how when the Blue Jackets are on the power play, they don't seem to look like they're 5-on-4. They look like they're even strength at like 4-on-4 or something like that. This was a good example of how they looked like they had more players on the ice. And I think maybe part of that would be the Mammoth. They're so a lot of people are playing like the 1-2-1 or like a diamond kind of formation. That's the most popular penalty kill formation in the NHL. But they're a little bit more spread out here, and I think that works against them. Blue Jackets kept their 5th man in the middle very good and stayed to the outside instead of collapsing in on one side or getting to one side with it, which helped keep them spread apart. I thought that they played that power play very well. Those are 2 of the things the Blue Jackets had to like work on hard this season. Was their penalty kill and their power play. And you see flashes here and there, and I do believe, like we talked about earlier, Steve McCarthy having to do with some of that, and part of why he's gone, because this isn't like a new to this season kind of thing. This is a new to these last 5 years kind of thing, and just a bit rough. But whoop, that was loud. I heard that. Was that SpongeBob?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So that ended up tying the game 2-2 in the second period, and nothing was going to happen in the third period. But luckily enough for the Blue Jackets, there was a penalty at the very end. I don't know how to say this guy's name. Is Daniil Butte?
Boot.
Boot. Looks like butt. Boot had a tripping call on Fantilli. So that gave the Blue Jackets an extra man starting the overtime, which I don't know what I was thinking. I thought for some reason overtime was separate from the other time and that the penalties didn't carry over, but I was very wrong.
Yeah.
And yeah, just a strong showing from Dmitry Voronkov. He is the man. He's the beast. Scary dude out on the ice. Him and Olivier were looking very scary this game, quite a bit. But Good overall. Jackets only got 2 penalties. Love seeing that. Voronkov ends up being a star of the game, first star of the game with 1 goal, 1 point. According to the NHL.com, Sergachev got second star of the game with 1 goal, 1 point. And Fantilli got 1 assist, 1 point for the third star, even though there was other goal scorers. Okay. Weird. Nothing real crazy sticking out in the stats as far as face-off hits or anything like that. Jackets did have 9 more shots on goal. Obviously, that's going to help quite a bit. Blue Jackets previously, never mind. They'll meet the Utah Mammoth one more time this season. They'll meet them in March 7th for a rematch of this. This will be in Columbus. So hopefully they can recreate what they did here and get the win then. Overall, good old 7 out of 10.
Yeah. All right. So this is the Mikhail Putia goal that he scored, and that was just awesome. Again, so Provorov's going to get the puck. Let's see. I'll put okay. It's up on the screen here. So, and then it's going to go to Heinen. And it's look, there is no BS. He's going to, because some players wouldn't have shot it because there's a guy right on him. They probably would have went around the net, waited for someone else to come in, then pass the puck and try and set something up. But Mikhail Putia did not do that. Instead, he shot and scored. And it's so fast that, like Hefty Duck said, I don't think anyone knew it was a goal until, the ref said, oh, pointed to it, goal. Like, he's going to shoot it. It's going to be in this upper part of the net right here. And it's going to be so fast in and out. You're like, whoa, he scored? Just awesome shot. Blew it past the goalie, no chance. Just an awesome shot from Mikhail Putia here. Bing. I don't know if I'll back this up. I don't know if you can see that or not. Oh, just missed it. Just missed it. See? Do you see where it is? Bam, right there. And then it's going to pop in this little corner up here and then pop out that quick. Score.
Yeah. That's why I think a lot of people were like, oh, it hit the crossbar or something like that. But dang, it was just that hard of a shot that quick.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, let's wait to watch the replay. But no. And
another thing that kind of makes this goal harder is, look, Putia has a left-handed shot on the left side. If he's a right-handed shot on the left side, that's a much easier shot for him. But he's a left-handed shot on the left side. It's a harder shot. It's a good shot on. It's a good job on him to do that shot in that position. Because you see how he shoots it. It's kind of an awkward angle on how he shoots it. Look at that's right there. That's kind of an awkward angle for him to shoot it. Again, if he's a right-handed shot on the left side, that's a much easier shot for him to shoot that. So good shot, Putia, because that was a much more harder shot because you're left-handed shot on the left side of the ice. So good shot. Now, we'll get to the Voronkov goal, and then after that, we still have some other stuff to get here to, talk about here. So we'll finish this up. Okay, Putia shoots and scores. There you go. Look at that. Boom. Shoot and score. That's pretty good. All right. So I'm going to turn that off. Okay. So this is the goal that Dmitry Voronkov scored in overtime to win it for the Blue Jackets. Now, this is what I mean by this is a good effort to keep the puck in the offensive zone and no BS. Just get it to the net. So here we go. So Voronkov's right here. He's going to make a big play to keep it in. It's going to go up to Marchenko. He's going to make a big play to keep it in. Over to Werenski. Now, Werenski. He could have made a move over here. You know, could have made a move over here, but he didn't do that. Quickly, get the puck on the net. Because, look, he's wide. Look at all this room he has. He's wide open. You're not, if you don't do this, you're not going to get that type of room again. So I like that he just put this on the net. Because either he shoots and scores, either someone scores on the rebound, someone gets the puck and passes it to someone, and maybe they score, or what happens is it goes to Voronkov or it bounces off his stick and goes in the net. All because you get the puck and just quickly put it on the net. Shoot. Boom. Off it. Bounces off Voronkov's stick and it goes into the net. Awesome goal here. So, Hefty Duck, your thoughts here?
No, this is a very good example of being at the right place at the right time and hustling to get there too.
Yeah.
And amazing pass from Zach Werenski. Another thing that I've been bitching about this whole year is about the whole Ian said earlier, talk about a little bit about the dump and chase kind of thing that was just not working well for the Blue Jackets at this point.
Yeah.
It's something that we've talked about the past few seasons too. It's been a very heavy part of the Blue Jackets game. And I've been harping about stick to stick passing. You cannot get any more accurate than this.
Yeah.
Like, how do you, as the goaltender, predict that is the outcome there? Because not only amazing pass by, did it hit Voronkov's stick? It didn't even hit his like the blade part of his stick, right? It just hit the shaft.
Yeah.
That's so incredible. I think so anyway. Let's watch this replay one more time. So Werenski gets it. Bang, bam. Let's look at the slowdown here. It certainly helped. The Blue Jackets had the extra skater on. Yeah, that was pretty rough. So there, one more time. It's going to do the slower one here, just real quick. Right here is where we're going to see it. Yeah, it looks like it hits almost like the heel or like the bottom of the shaft of the stick there. So crazy.
And you're right, because if you're Utah's goalie, you have to play this a certain way, because you have to. Werenski, he's wide open. He's one of the best shooters on the Blue Jackets. You have to play that like, okay, he's going to shoot it, so I got to get ready for a shot. Like, I can't let him beat me.
Yeah.
So that's what he's doing. So, like, you're positioning yourself in a way to, all right, I got to stop this shot from Zach Werenski, which he is. And then at the last moment, puck bounces off of Voronkov's stick and goes in the net. Like, you can't, that's going to be a goal where you had no chance on that. So, overall, good play by the Blue Jackets. Good goal. Blue Jackets get the big win in overtime, 3-2.
Pretty sick.
So we'll let this finish out, and then we got other stuff to,
Yeah, it's getting kind of close to the end here.
So, all right, now we got some other stuff to talk about. So first, Penn State, they posted this picture of Blue Jackets prospect Jackson Smith in action. Of course, they're playing Minnesota, the Golden Gophers, and there's a little picture of Jackson Smith shooting the puck in action. Pretty cool. And I do have to say, I really do like those Gophers jerseys. I like that good color contrast of the red jersey with the yellow shoulders.
Hell yeah, pretty sick.
Anyways, so there's that. Now, we did promise some clips, so Jackson Smith, Blue Jackets prospect Jackson Smith, who's a defenseman for Penn State, did score a goal. So we're going to play that goal. And it's a real good play. He gets the puck, and he's going to a little juke move, and a deke him out, and then he's going to shoot and score. Snipe, blow it past the goalie. There you go. He's going to get the puck. And oop, I'm just going to skate right past you, and then I'm going to shoot and score. Just awesome goal by Blue Jackets prospect Jackson Smith.
So smooth.
So here we go. Penn State's going to get the puck. They're going to make a good play. It goes to Jackson Smith. And then, yep, I'm just going to blow right past you. Shoot and score. Here we go. And, yep. We'll play this one more time here. So here we go. There's Jackson Smith. And I'm going to deke the guy, and I'm going to shoot and score. Blow it past the goalie. No chance. So, let's see here. Let's one more time here. We'll finish it out. Do. All right. Pause that. All right. Next up, we're going to play this. Nice little. So, Blue Jackets prospect Caden Lindstrom, who plays for Michigan State, was playing at Ohio State. And Caden Lindstrom had a good, awesome pass to help set up a goal for Michigan State. So, we're going to play that. So, here we go. Okay, it's up on the screen. So, here we go. So, puck battle along the boards. Caden Lindstrom's going to get the puck. He's going to win the board battle, and then he's going to pass it to a Michigan State player, and then he's going to shoot and score. So, we'll back this up again. So again, we'll back this up. So this is where you see what Caden Lindstrom, his size, his physicality can be a problem. 6'4", 220. He's big, he's physical, and he's hard to play against, can score goals, and he uses his size to his advantage here to win the puck battle along the boards and then make an awesome pass to help set up a goal. So what you thinking here, Hefty Duck?
Oh, pretty slick goal. Love to see Blue Jackets prospects doing well out there.
That's right. So, okay, maybe like one or two more things here. We'll stop this. Turn off the sound. Now, there is a little news that involves the Reds, but also very well could be affecting the Blue Jackets sometime in the future, which is this. FanDuel Sports, or, FanDuel Sports Ohio, has the Blue Jackets, the Reds, and the Cavs. That's where you can watch their games. However, though, starting this upcoming season for the Reds, that's not going to be a thing. So there is another thing to consider. There is a possibility that FanDuel Sports could come back for the Reds, but based on different articles I've been reading, more likely than not, that does not seem to be the case. Most likely, the Reds are going to have a different TV setup. Why I bring this up, because the Reds, up until recently, were on the same channel as the Cavs and the Blue Jackets. So if the Reds are making the decision to not have their games on FanDuel Sports Network, what does that mean for the Blue Jackets? Because the company who owns the TV channel that does all the games for a lot of these teams, including the Reds and the Blue Jackets and the Cavs and so many other teams, they're having some bankruptcy issues, and there is a potential that they could be going away if it continues this way. There's a potential it could come back, but there's a potential that it could go away. And if the Reds are making the decision to go away and do something different, what's going to happen with the Blue Jackets? Because the Blue Jackets are good to go for the rest of this season. They don't have to worry about that. But what's going to happen next season? What happens if, FanDuel Sports Network goes away? What are you going to do, Blue Jackets? Where are you going to put your games? Are you other teams have done where you just say, you know what, screw it. We'll just have like our own thing that it's like online, and you pay like a certain amount of money a month for it. And then you basically can put it on your computer or your TV and just stream it that way if you're in the TV market. No questions asked. Because that's what's happened with some of these teams in hockey, where they used to have FanDuel Sports Network, and then either FanDuel Sports Network made the decision to stop it, or the team made the decision to stop it, and they now have it where it's like you pay a certain amount of money a month, and then you just put it on your TV or your computer, and you can just stream it in the TV market. That's it. No questions asked. So I just wonder if something like that's going to happen for the Blue Jackets. Something that may happen, though, is they put their games on ABC 6 News, because the last two seasons, this past season and this season, the Blue Jackets have had some games where they put it on ABC 6 News. ABC 6 News is one of the big local channels in Columbus. So I just wonder if the next season, if FanDuel Sports Network is not a thing, is that trend going to continue where they put some, the games on ABC 6 News? Or is it going to be a thing where the Blue Jackets do a thing where it's like a streaming service thing, where it's like pay a certain amount of money a month, and you can stream it in your TV market, no questions asked. So I just wonder what's going to happen here with the Blue Jackets, because if the Reds are doing this, what will the Blue Jackets do if FanDuel Sports Network isn't a thing?
Yeah, I haven't minded too much with the guards doing their own thing, because personally, I almost exclusively just watch hockey and baseball.
Yeah.
I'll watch football when I see it on, but
Yeah.
I mean, I get because I'm up northeastern, like central eastern Ohio, so I get like all like the Cleveland stuff, the Brown stuff,
Well,
on like CBS and shit like that. So bummer to hear about it for y'all down south there, but you can just cancel your FanDuel after the basketball or hockey season and
yeah.
get the Reds package. That's what I do every year. I just cancel and then
Yeah.
redo the next one.
That's probably what's probably going to have to happen. Like, you're probably paying money for the TV thing just so you can watch the Blue Jackets and the Cavs. And once that's done, it's like, well, I guess we'll stop that and do whatever, like, you got to do to get the Reds games if, you're a Reds fan,
Yep.
Because like I know that's the thing. Like I've read comments about that like people specifically just they pay the FanDuel thing and pay the TV thing just so that they can watch like the Cavs and the Blue Jackets, and then once that's gone, they're like, well, and like the Reds, and like, okay, then I'll cancel it. But then it's like, well, you don't have the Reds anymore, so it's probably going to be like, well, pay money just so you can watch the Blue Jackets and Cavs, and once that's done, it's like, well, yeah, I guess that's the end of that, and we'll figure something else out for for the Reds and the Blue Jackets and Cavs, I guess, when that time comes. So it's just going to be interesting to see like how that goes, what the Blue Jackets do when next season comes around for TV.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to affect me personally because I don't live in the Blue Jackets TV market. So, because I just pay money for ESPN Plus, and that's how I watch the Blue Jackets play. So, like this, for like, if you live in the Blue Jackets TV market, which is basically Ohio, like that's going to affect you. But for me personally, that's not going to affect me because I don't live in the Blue Jackets TV market. So I'll just keep watching games how I've always watched them, which is pull up my computer and watch the Blue Jackets game there. But
yeah, it's stupid. Where I live, if I ever see any Blue Jackets or Penguins games on like TV, like if it's on like TNT or ESPN or something like that, and I'm trying to watch like on like Dish Network or DirecTV or something like that, both teams blacked out. Both. Why?
Yeah.
Why? What team is my market then? What am I supposed to watch?
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
So stupid. Anyway, you got anything else for the tonight?
I'm gonna quickly check my bookmarks to see if I have anything else. Otherwise, we'll get going here. So I'll check my bookmarks to see if there's anything else that I want to talk about. Let's see. Okay, we'll put this up on the screen because this is another tweet that people seem to like, which is basically saying that, if you have a ticket to an outdoor hockey game, you got to try your best to sit up higher because it's better that way. You can see everything better. And outdoor hockey games are usually in a football stadium or a baseball stadium. And those stadiums are made for baseball and football. They're not necessarily made for a hockey game. And when you put a hockey game there, sitting down low cannot be as good because the sight lines are not very good. It's kind of hard to see down low. So if you sit up high, so if you get a ticket to a outdoor hockey game, sit up high. So I just put this out there on our show's Twitter page. You should check it out. If you have tickets to an outdoor hockey game, you want to sit higher, preferably in the upper deck. Better experience, and you can see the game a lot better. That's just how it is. I see pictures of people's seats at outdoor hockey games where they're sitting down low, and it doesn't look good, especially at a baseball stadium, which is definitely not made for sitting down low for an outdoor hockey game. If you have to sit down low for an outdoor hockey game, a football stadium would be better suited for that. And this is what I'm getting at here. Like, you're sitting down low. Is it still a good seat? Yes, but it could be better because this is a football stadium that's not made for hockey. You could see where this could be an issue where the sight lines aren't as good and it's kind of hard to see stuff if you're sitting that down low. So This is one of the a response to our tweet that, yeah, it was kind of hard to see stuff if you're sitting down low. Compare that to this seat up here where you're sitting up higher and you have a better shot of seeing everything. It's much better.
Yeah.
Or, let's see here. Or again, this one, again. This is way better. You're sitting up higher. You can see everything much better. Or, let's see here. There was another one. There was another good post I shared here. Where it's coming up pretty quick here. Where was it? Right here. So this is from Jackets Debrief on Twitter. So this is just another example of why it's better to sit up high if you have tickets to an outdoor game, because this is just perfect. Awesome seats. You can see everything. This is what you want if you have tickets for an outdoor hockey game. And then I'll share my seats from the outdoor game, and then they'll probably be it. So again, this is another example of why it's better to sit up high if you have tickets to an outdoor hockey game. These were my seats at the Blue Jackets outdoor game, and it was awesome. Great seats. We're like 5-10 rows up, upper deck, and we were just to the left of center ice, and it was perfect. We could see everything, and just awesome seats for the Blue Jackets outdoor game. So one last time, if you have tickets to a outdoor hockey game, it's recommended that you get seats up high. It's better suited that way. You can see everything better viewing experience, and you can see everything better. That's just how it is. So if you have tickets to an outdoor hockey game, sit up high. You can see everything better.
Nice.
So, anything else to say on this, Hefty Duck?
Nope.
All right, then. So, one last time, going to check the bookmarks to see if there's anything else that I want to talk about. If not, we'll say our things and then get out of here. Let's see here. I'm checking my bookmarks. Let's see here. Anything else? No. We do not have anything else to share today. Well, I was going to share some hockey jersey concepts, and they were cool. Some different Blue Jackets themed hockey jersey concepts for today's show. And then, Dean Evison gets fired, and then Rick BOWNESS is the new Blue Jackets coach, and got to talk about the 4 games that the Blue Jackets played and a bunch of other stuff. So that got kicked out of this show, and that will be some other show where we talk about different hockey jersey concepts that I have found for the Blue Jackets. So anyways, we're going to say our stuff that we normally do and then get out of here. So Hefty Duck, you can start off with your stuff.
Yeah, don't forget to check us out on YouTube. Or if you're on YouTube, check us out on Twitter. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. We don't have any sponsors here. I am basically the show sponsor. Check me out on Instagram at Lance Schrock Tattoos. I do a bunch of tattoo work, art. If you're in the northeast central part of Ohio, hit me up. We can do some pretty cool work. I've done some sick Blue Jackets tattoos already. I've done a really cool Stinger one earlier this year. It was a Stinger / first responder tattoo. Check it out on my Instagram. Other than that, Shit. I think that's. Let me check real quick because I believe that next week we will be coming at you on Monday yet again.
Yeah.
Sundays just get a little bit difficult. Mondays we've been having some pretty good viewership, and I like starting the week out with y'all. It's a fun time as long as there's not Monday games. I'm gonna go, do a Sunday. Not a big deal. Looks like at the end of this month it'll be. Anyway, just stay tuned for when we're live. Not every week we're gonna have some massive news just taking over the podcast. No complaints here. I always like covering. It's very rare. We're not really like a breaking news type podcast. We are a report on the last week, what happened. If this would have happened tomorrow, we would talk about it on the next week's podcast. So,
Right. Yeah.
Just kind of fortunate we got some pretty big news to talk about tonight. Pretty good time. If you want to listen to our podcast, check us out on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, Google, anywhere that you can find podcasts. We are there. We upload the audio every week. If you want to listen to us, maybe like you're on your way to work or something like that, feel free to check us out there. Other than that, this has been a pretty fun episode so far, and I'm signing off.
All right. Before we get going here, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That would be greatly appreciated. Please tell your family, please tell your friends, like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Anyways, on to the next thing. As always, I have to give a shout out to my awesome Uncle Doc, the best of the best. What a guy. So good. I wish you were here a lot so I could still talk to you and hang out with you at family get-togethers and birthday parties and Christmas and Thanksgiving and Easter and so much more. I wish that you were still here so I could talk some hockey with you because you were a big hockey guy like me. The Blackhawks were your team, but the Blue Jackets became your second favorite team because of me. And I love that and I appreciate that. So thank you, Doc. Thank you. If you're still here, you could tell me your thoughts on how you think the Blackhawks season is going. I could tell you my thoughts on how I think the Blue Jackets season is going. And but unfortunately you're not here anymore since you unfortunately died in September 2024. Very disappointing, very sad, very, 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 very unfortunate. You are missed by many people. Your family and your friends love you very much. You're missed. I've told this story on the show, but you had this blue camo Blue Jackets hat that you loved wearing a lot, especially at your cooking job that you had. And you tell the story how you'd wear that blue camo Blue Jackets hat at your cooking job, and you'd say, "Oh, that your fellow cooking co-workers love that hat." They say, "Oh, what's that hat?" "Oh, it's a Blue Jackets hat. It's a hockey. My nephew got it for me." And they say, "Oh, that's a cool hat. That's cool." And then you tell me that story, and I just love it so much that people got a kick out of that blue camo Blue Jackets hat. That people liked it, even in Illinois. So that was cool. You got that hat because my dad and I went to a Blue Jackets game in January of 2020. The Blue Jackets beat Carolina that day. And it just so happened that it was Military Appreciation Night that day. And that was the giveaway. It was a blue camo Blue Jackets hat. And we got 3 of them, but we only needed 2. And my dad's like, "What are we going to do with the third?" And then he started thinking, "Oh, we'll give it to Doc. He would like it." And sure enough, you did. You wore that hat a lot. So thank you, Uncle Doc. Shout out to you. I wish you're still here so I could hang out with you at family get-togethers and birthdays and holidays like Christmas and Thanksgiving and Easter and so much more. I wish you were still here so I could talk hockey with you. Big hockey guy, big Blackhawks guy. You can share your thoughts on how you think the Blackhawks are doing. I could share my thoughts on how I think the Blue Jackets are doing. It just could be a lot of fun times. But shout out to my awesome Uncle Doc, the best of the best. Thank you for everything.
Rest in peace, Uncle Doc.
Oop, I did not want to do that. Okay. Over 400 people watching, 400 people live watching this. That is great. That is awesome. Thank you for that, everyone. Thank you for watching today's show. This is definitely our best show so far this season. You usually get a good crowd of people watching, but not this good. So thank you to everyone who's watching. Currently, we have 401. Oh, now it's 402 people watching this live. So that's great. So thank you. All right. One last thing for me, and then we'll get out of here. If you haven't already, please check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Union Blue Soldiers is a fun Blue Jackets themed fan group that I run. We do a lot of fun stuff like marches to cheer on the Blue Jackets. Our marches have been featured in the Columbus Dispatch, 97.1 The Fan, 10 TV, ABC 6 News, NBC 4, the scoreboard at Blue Jackets games, ticket commercials during Blue Jackets games. The Blue Jackets themselves have participated in the marches 2021, 2022, and 2023. The Blue Jackets have promoted our marches all over social media. Stinger has been to our marches. We got people who throw the t-shirts at the Blue Jackets games into the crowds at our marches. It's been on TV and so much more. So check out Union Blue Soldiers. We normally do marches for every Blue Jackets home opener and playoff and Blue Jackets playoff games. So you don't want to miss the marches that Union Blue Soldiers does. It's a great time, a great event, a great way to be with your fellow Blue Jackets fans to cheer on the Blue Jackets. So one last time, follow Union Blue Soldiers on all social media platforms. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out our marches. And check out Union Blue Soldiers. 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 So that's it for me. Thanks for watching the show, everyone. Check out Union Blue Soldiers right here. And Hefty Duck, Hefty Duck and I are gonna get out of here.
Have a good night, y'all. We'll see you again next week.